Well, now, if you didn't know this, guess what? Bad financial mistakes are made within 24 hours of getting paid. You see, 24 hours after you get paid, this is where the bad financial mistakes are made. Bad financial mistakes are made. See, within the 24 hours of payment, you know why I'm saying so? See, there are some people, even if you pay them today, the money you pay them, it cannot survive even 24 hours on their hands. I repeat my point. Bad financial mistakes are done or are made within the 24 hours of getting paid. That's a reality. See, there are some people, even if you pay them right now, let's say you pay them at the evening, let's say at 4. Tomorrow at the evening at 4, these guys, the money cannot even sustain or survive on their hands. You know why? See, when you make financial decisions within 24 hours, guess what you're doing? You're probably going to make what we call the emotional decisions. Emotional decisions. You're going to make emotional decisions. And when I say about emotional decision, I have to remind you this. There are two organs in your body that are antagonists. They contradict each other when you approach the money. I have to repeat this. I've ever said this and I'm going to say it a million times. One, we have what we call our heart. All right, we have our heart and then we have our brain. So these are two different organs that the way they approach money is antagonist, is different from each other. Let me explain. See, when you paid or when you have the money and then immediately you have this thought like, guess what? Oh my goodness, that was a tough month. That was a tough week. I am telling you, Joseph, you deserve the best. You've been having a rough time. Guess what? You've been invited for a certain road drive somewhere. You've been invited for somewhere. You have to get yourself a nice shoes, a nice dress, a nice whatever. See, when you argue that way from a consumer mentality, justifying why you should consume your money, feeling nice, you should go grab that coffee. Just if you love coffee, guess what? You have to see, when you engage that kind of emotional approach, then guess what you're using? You're using your heart. You're making what we call the emotional decisions. And those emotional decisions are made within 24 hours when you get paid. And this is the problem that people make. You see, people never, or a large number of people do not think critically within 24 hours of getting paid. See, for example, say right now you win a lottery. So what happens? You don't think, you jump, you say, oh my goodness, I'm so happy. You're just crying, guess what? The heart is in control. Wow, I'm so happy about this and all those kind of things. Get what I'm saying? See, but if you were to delay a little bit, see, the moment you stay 2 days, 3 days, 4 days before doing a substantive action of the money. Obviously, let's say you get paid immediately when your landlord needs some cash. That one you don't need to think about. That you can just go ahead and pay that. See, there's some things that you can have as an emergency immediately when you get paid. You can go sort of about that. Say you have like a sick person in a hospital. You don't have to sort of critically think. Definitely you need to pay bills. But again, as much as you're going to do that, you have to think critically what you're supposed to do. You get what I'm saying? Now, see, I was explaining we have two organs now. That was the heart. Let's go to the brain. Guess what happens? Now, the brain, or the logical part of you as far as the money approach is concerned, usually comes way later. This is how it happens. See, once you get paid, you have all those emotions that I've explained to you. So once you go broke, now you tend to be smart. You tend to think, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I really wish I did set aside like 10K towards that investment. I really wish I did what Joseph says about money market fund. I really wish I paid for that financial advice, by the way, because I'm financially illiterate. I really wish I went ahead and set aside like 5,000 towards my emergency fund. I really wish I did. See, now you're thinking. See, when you tend to lose the money that you have, you tend to be smart. That's a reality. And by the way, you'll be shocked if I tell you this. There are some people who cannot function with a certain amount of money. They have to squander that money until they bring it to a level where the brain can function. See, there's someone who you can give, let's say, 10,000. Or maybe let's say 100,000. That person cannot function with that amount of money. So they have to squander that amount of money until it reaches to their level of 10,000. The moment they get the 10,000, now their brain starts to work. That's a reality. Well, that information was shared for me with a great guy called Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, a very great guy. So the point is this. See, if you squander that money and bring it down to that level, at that particular point, that's now when you start to think. You see, there is a difference between, anyway, let me go not get there. So the point is this. So it is good to understand. If you make a money decision based within the 24 hours, you're likely to consult your heart. But if you were to delay a little bit, this is when we talk about the delayed gratifications. If you were to, you see, one principle of money when you get paid is to retain it, is to have it, is to own it. See, there are people who you can pay them, but they don't own the money. You pay them, the next minute, the money exchange hands. So if your money exchange hands at a very high rate, you do not have the absorbability capacity. You don't have the absorption capacity. You cannot retain wealth. I repeat my point. There are some people who you pay them money, they never own the money. Why? You pay them, they have the consumer mindset, the money exchange hands, and never forget this: wealth exchange hands each and every time. So the moment you pay them, the money lands on their hands, they consume, the money goes. Money goes to people who are smart at keeping it. And that's why we call net worth. Net worth is what you retain, not what you make. That's what I'm supposed to understand. So what you do immediately after getting paid, make sure that you retain the money. That's the first principle. Retain the money, absorb the money, at least house the money. So once you house the money, then try to approach what we call the hierarchy of priorities. I shared about these things a little bit back earlier. Go check my older videos. See, hierarchy of priorities is the things that matters in your life. Go ahead and put your education out there. Say you're paying school fees. Then go put something to do with food, the shelter, the clothing. Go put things to do with emergency fund investments. Things to do with, hey, guess what? You have a debt somewhere, supporting your family members. All those things. Which one falls under the highest priority? What is the priority? Let's say you are hungry right now and you get money. What is the priority? Is it a dress or a cloth or a shoe or food? Food. See, when you write all those hierarchy of priorities, then you start taking the money that you have and start feeding those things with that priority. Let's say you are right now, you've been paid some cash. You have unhealthy debt that people are calling you right and left, and also you have a landlord whom you need to pay. You have some school fees you need to pay, and you slept hungry. In that category of things that you need to do, all of them are yours. You have to achieve them. You have to do them. See, the other problem and weakness that we have with people is that they do not know what is an emergency. They do not know what's prioritized before the other. They just go ahead and do things randomly. I've ever met somebody who is struggling to save, someone who is trying the best they can to save, and at the same time they are on an unhealthy debt. It does not make any sense. It's like stealing from from one pocket and put it through the other one. See, the point is this: get the things that are actually disturbing you. For example, if you're on unhealthy debt, you cannot be in order. Get the old debt out. First of all, solve them. Once you solve them, you have the stability of the mind. You can think clearly, and you can be able to make some good decisions in future. That's a reality. But once you get some cash, you don't even think. You think about going out, grabbing those coffees, getting yourself the nicest hair out there, getting your nails done, going for those road trip and what have you, going to the rallies that we have, for example, in Kenya, maybe in some few days to come, depends on when you're watching this video. See, you do not have actually to you do not even channel your money towards the things that are the priorities as of now. Guess what? And then you act surprisingly. Hey, guess what? Once I get paid, my money cannot even stay with me for 10 days because you do not have the house ability. You do not have that ability to retain your cash. Money comes in, flows, just flies off your hands, and you do not have it. Guess what? See, never forget this as long as you live. If you do nothing about money today, be sure that you're going to have a money problem tomorrow. True. If you do nothing about money today, be sure you're going to have some money problems tomorrow. And guess what? Just because, say, you earn like 10,000, 50,000, 40, whatever the amount of money, you tend to think like you earn less amount of money. The problem is not the less amount of money that you earn, but the problem is you whose money goes to. See, if you change your mentality and your perception, you're going to do something great. There is no way you can convince me you have a problem with 10,000, managing 10,000, and you tell me that by virtue of me getting 100,000, then everything will fall into place. Nothing. It is true. Guess what happens? You just have a magnified problem. Money does never change anybody. Money has never changed anybody. It just amplifies who you are. If you're a squanderer, you're going to squander a lot of money. If you're an idiot, you're going to be a big idiot. If you're a philanthropist, you're going to be a big philanthropist. That's the reality. So once you get paid, learn to channel money where it is required. For example, say you're on a mission. For example, at the start of this year, I said we're on a mission of saving 100K. And 100K, see, saving 100K to you means you saving 10K per month. Say maybe you have the capacity to do so. So you have to lean towards that discipline. You have to be consistent with that. See, for you, saving 100K means saving 2K per month. Go ahead and do that. For you, saving 100K meaning you guess what? You count the cost and pay the price. My price of getting 100K at the end of this year, it means me parting ways with the 10K that I have to direct it towards an investment that at the end of the year, I'm going to realize the goal of 100K. Stick to that. So the more immediately when you get paid, guess what happens? This is what I always advise people. You save and invest way before using and save. See, people, what they do is that they get the money, they use it, then they invest the surplus. That's not the principle. That's not the principle. The principle is once you get the cash, say you maybe want 50 Gs a month. See, what you do if you need to save a 10K per month, immediately once you get paid, the moment money lands in your landing account, get that money, put it in a developmental account. Probably put it in an investment. Nowadays, we don't save money, we invest the money. So get the 10K, put it out there. So pre-program your mind that I earn 40K. Then go ahead and live a life that you has to be sustained by 40,000. That's a reality. See, I told you never live within your means. That's a scam. Never live within your means. Live below your means. Create surplus. Once you create surplus, you invest the surplus. That's how you realize the financial freedom. You have to be a respect of time. You have to be an individual who knows very well consistency, discipline, and sacrifice is what realizes the growth, is what realizes the discipline. And guess what? I have never promised that it is easier done than said. It is forever easier said than done. No wonder why we have less of successful people in life, because very few number of people are willing to pay the cost. When I say pay the cost, I mean like, hey, for example, if you want to have the six-pack, if it means you doing 100 push-up or 200 push-up each and every day, how many people will show up continuously for a whole year for you to realize that? Some of them will be so much motivated at the morning, and then after some times, they get bored or something of sort. How many of you right now this that month, it depends on when you're watching this video, how many of you right now are actually following the what do you call them, the resolutions that you wrote at the beginning of this year? And I don't know who told people that you have to do a great beginning when everyone is beginning. But let me tell you one secret. The moment you realize that you're doing a thing that most of the people are doing, then don't expect to get a unique thing. You're gonna get what majority of the people get. And what do the majority of the people get? An average life. So you have to see, when you want to make a decision, you don't have to wait the January for you to make a decision. You do it now. January has nothing to do with you starting a new resolution. January has nothing to do with you checking your body, checking your, how you, what you eat. You have to do it now. See, your year doesn't have to start at the January when everyone's here is starting at that particular point. Your year can start from today. If you're watching this video on March 27th, then it means that you can make a decision on March 27th and say, hey, but the next year, March 27th, that's my year. See, you make a decision, but this issue of procrastinating. When I tell you have a budget, you do not have a budget. You just say, hey, I want to engage this money freestyle. Okay, fine. I'm not a motivational speaker. I tell you the truth. It's good to start with hope and never end with hope. Hope is a good breakfast, but a poor dinner. It is. I really wish I have another way of saying it, but it is what it is. And the problem is that at least nowadays, most of the people, just want to hear what they want to be told. But I'm here to tell you the truth, and we're going to go with the truth. And that's the reality. Do something. Do something about your life. Do something about your cash. Guess what? Nature has that thing like, hey, guess what? If you vibrate positive energy, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to make some cash and you're going to do something about your life. Never forget this. I'm not a motivational speaker. I tell you the truth. So once you get paid, learn to be disciplined person. At least let your money be in your hands for the next 48 or the 72 hours or something of sort. That way, the longer you stay with your money, the better the relationship you create with it, and the better decision that you're going to make with it. But the moment you get the money, poof, there's some people you pay them today, the moment they see a notification from their phone that the money has been credited to their bank account, immediately they do, the first thing they do, they pass by the mall. Damn. What are you doing? What are you doing? I know you deserve a better life. I know you love to have that fun. I know you love to have that great life and all those kind of things. It's okay. But you're getting them at the wrong time. You're barely surviving. You're only 2 months before you become broke. Only 2 months. What if you don't get paid next month? See, sometimes it's always good that you ask yourself this question. Yeah, I'm employed somewhere. What if I don't receive salary for the next 2 months? What do you think will happen to your life? Thank you. That's a rhetoric question. Answer to yourself and ask yourself, okay, fine. If you can become broke within 2 months, then I'm not doing the right thing. So go ahead and do the right thing. See, the funny thing about life is most of you knows what you're supposed to do. But you just wait people to tell you what you're supposed to do. You don't do what you're supposed to do. And maybe after this video, you're so much motivated. Yeah, I'm going to make a decision. Wow, amazing. Probably you're taking notes. And then after this, you're going to keep that book away. And then you're going to wait my tomorrow's video. You're going to be motivated again. Wow, amazing. I love this. You write it and put it aside. And then you wait another one. By the time you realize 30 years has gone. For example, I was telling some people, hey, if you just want to achieve some millions of money in terms of investment, pick a thing that is giving you a return of, say, even 10%. Be putting something like 250 Kenyan shillings. You're going to have your millions at the end of that period. Be like, oh, 30 years is long. But you're going to get the 30 years after all. Whether you save or don't, the 30 years will still pass. That's a reality. So why don't you do something? See, like people saying, hey, there is no God. See, or maybe we would go to heaven. Why about you believe we will go to heaven and then realize that we won't go? Rather than not believing and then you realize that we will go. Be smart. Come on. Be on the winning end all the time. That's what you're supposed to do. Anyway, for now, so goodbye. See you in the next one. But never forget, you can always pick that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call or an email there. We can talk about investment, anything related to exactly that, for just a cup of coffee's price. For now, so goodbye and see you in the next one.